Wednesday on BET.
Say what you have to say.
There's only one episode left.
That FBI agent said you're in danger?
Before the mid-season finale.
Finally, we got a moment alone. How about tell Zach the truth?
And everyone's lining up for the drama.
Look, I'm hurt, all right? She liked you more than for just the juice, my boy.
Staying away from my sister.
Or what?
Who's Sabrina?
I think Hayden's gonna use her to hurt me. And I think Cheyenne secretly wants to hurt me too.
Tyler Perry Sistas. All new Wednesday at 9. Watch it live on BET.
Hey y'all, it's your Missniecytv and we're to break down the trailer for Sistas Season 10, Episode 10. The trailer starts off with Danny and Tony having a conversation, and Danny's like, say what you need to say, Tony. And Tony's like, I'm hurt, but I still love you, alright? Danny's like, why? At this point, they just need to cut their losses and go their separate ways. I understand that Tony was trying to be there for Danny and help her out, but clearly, she just needs to work on herself. And Tony, you don't need to put yourself through that anymore, and both y'all can find somebody to make y'all happy when the time is right. Because, Tony, you need to work on yourself, too, just as much as Danny does. Over at Andy's, we see Cheyenne talking to Andy, and she's like, so that detective guy basically said you're in danger. The way that Andy's looking at Cheyenne, I think she's not going to tell her the truth, even though Andy needs to tell her the truth because they live in the same house. Something can happen to Cheyenne just off the strength of Andy and that hit being out on Andy. But I am keeping my eye out on Cheyenne because the way that she was looking when the agent was having a conversation with Andy, it did look very suspicious, and she might know something. Over at Zach and Fatima's, we see Fatima and Mr. Keys having a conversation, and she's like, finally, we have a moment alone. Mr. Keys is like, what can I do for you, Fatima? And Fatima's like, well, first of all, you could tell Zach the truth. And Mr. Keys is looking like, what? Fatima, I understand that you have Zach's best interest at heart, and you want to do anything that you also want to do anything to spare his feelings and to spare him getting hurt by the attachment to Mr. Keys. But when Zach does find out the truth, he's going to be hurt more that you knew this entire time and didn't tell him anything. You know how Zach is about liars, and you chose to sit there and omit the truth. Even though Zach says he doesn't care about his father and he doesn't want to get to know his father, deep down inside, Zach is longing for that relationship with his father. Mr. Keys and Fatima are basically keeping that relationship that Zach is longing for from him. Over at the salon, we see Pam, Danny, and Maurice holding interviews for a new stylist. They're basically giving everybody a no, and I'm like, Danny, you are holding information that you know somebody that's a stylist and you can hire. But I understand that Danny doesn't want to give Cheyenne the job just because she's Andy's sister and she really has to work for it. Then we see Officer Green sitting outside Danny's apartment, and I'm like, Officer Green is definitely going to be a problem. He's already been a problem. He's definitely going to be a bigger problem now, seeing that Danny rejected him, and he's like one of them type of people that can't take rejection, and he's just going to throw a tantrum and cause havoc in Danny's life. Then we see Zach over at Richard's juice bar, and he's talking to Rich, and he's basically telling Rich that Madison likes him more than just a business partner. Rich is like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I think Rich is scared to move on because he has an attachment to Sabrina. And Rich, you and Sabrina weren't together at the time of her accident. Rich, even if you don't want to move on romantically just yet, at least get to know her as a friend, and then maybe that friendship can open up a romantic. Over in Hayden's office, we see Andy going to talk to him, and she's basically like, leave my sister alone and stop talking to my sister. And Hayden's like, what if I don't? This is going to cause problems between them. Those two didn't even like each other before, but now that Cheyenne's in the picture, it's going to be even worse. And I think Andy's going to be the casualty in all of this, because even though Cheyenne and Andy are sisters, I think she really wants to hurt Andy for the resentment that she has towards her. Back over at Richard's juice bar, we see Madison come in, and Zach and Richard still talking, and I guess they start talking about Sabrina, and Madison's like, who's Sabrina? I wonder if Richard's going to explain the extent of him and Sabrina's relationship, or is he just going to say that him and Sabrina were friends? Once again, Rich doesn't owe Sabrina anything, but I feel like he feels like if he moved on, Sabrina would be mad, because even though neither one of them owe each other anything. Back over at the law firm, we can see Andy talking to Fatima, and they're basically talking about Mr. Keys and the relationship that Valerie has with Mr. Keys, and Fatima's like, I don't trust that man. And they start talking about Cheyenne and Hayden. Andy's like, even though I know Hayden's out to hurt me, I think Cheyenne's out to hurt me too. And I'm like, Andy, I'm so glad you're smart in this situation. Just because Cheyenne's your sister and she's living with you, that doesn't mean she likes you and all the love came back. Cheyenne's really there for a hidden agenda, and I don't think Cheyenne will be happy with herself until that hidden agenda will be accomplished. I don't know what it may be, but I think Hayden's going to help her out with it. Back over at the salon, Danny, Pam, and Maurice are still doing interviews in Cheyenne well. Cheyenne doesn't know how to be professional, even if her life depended on it. I feel like they're going to give Cheyenne the job, but she's going to be on like some trial period to see how she actually does. I just can't wait to see the dynamic between her and Maurice and Danny and see how everything is going to go. I think Cheyenne will turn out to be a great stylist, though. Let me know what you guys think about the trailer. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, turn on bell notifications. Bye!